Hello, this is Casual Inept Gaming. I know, awesome name, isn't it? Returning once again, as always, to Empyrion. Just going to do a brief update. Last time I just started making some T1 auto miners, which are just look like them things there. Little tiny ones, didn't have the resources to do anything else, so built quite a few of those. Had a brief jaunt around the planet, which we will now do. And just became a game of resource collection. So first things first, made the decision to start using fusion cells in the capital ships. So placed a few more hydrogen generators here, which is the closest body of water to the base. So yeah, just for a little tour of the planet while we collect all this crap. So for the size of the ships and fuel consumption, all the rest of the crap, I don't really need the fusion cells for the capital ship, but since it's in the game, I'm going to use them. In other games using the same ship, I've had no problems at all using the large fuel packs. As long as you're not on hydrogen or on normal fuel packs, it doesn't really matter. But I'm not using a huge capital ship because I don't really need to. I don't do PvP, so I'm not going up against anything remotely huge. It is just a carrier for the smaller ships, and my smaller ships are actually pretty small because, once again, if you're not doing the PvP environment, it doesn't make any difference. So yeah, fighters for life. So first one, play some auto miners. This is a level 3 auto miner. It's a bit fancier, it's a lot higher mining rate, a bit more thirsty as well. I think the fuel to ore ratio always works about the same, it just takes up less of your time. I had a little bit of luck-ish. I was flying around and I ran into a little transport hub, an alien transport hub, and I just felt like having a go at it. And only defended by 2 turrets, so as long as you don't get hit, you're fine. Took out the 2 turrets, and I'll show you where the core is, or was in this case. It's pretty easy to take out, so just get rid of the turrets, stick your nose into the base itself, and then I just use the Gatling guns to go through a couple of normal steel blocks, I think they were. I don't think they're particularly armoured. It's definitely not combat steel, otherwise the Gatling guns wouldn't do it. And behind 2 steel blocks there was the core, so once the core's out, the base is dead. And my tactic for the smaller bases is I take the core out if I know where it is. Once the base is dead, I don't bother going in and just assaulting the base normally, as you do with guns and things, just going alien hunting. I use the ship to take out, if I see anything through the windows, especially these bloody little, they look like bins with wannabe Daleks, like a bin with a plunger on its head, little cannon turret things, whatever they are. Take out any spawners I can see through the windows, and then I just send the drone in with the multi-tool to destroy any spawner that I can see. So if the enemies can't spawn, then it lessens the risk quite a lot. And then I just dig the floor out from under the aliens, and the AI is pretty crap for the aliens. It's better than it was. It's a lot better than it was, and they're a lot more dangerous. Before you could just walk in with a rock and probably just not have a single death, whereas now they're a lot better, a lot higher accuracy and a lot more damage. So drop them to the floor, so they get stuck, and then I just strip the base around them once I've got all the emptied all the containers, because you can usually find, I usually got access to most of the containers and all the resources in them without venturing too deep into the base. For the smaller ones you can just stand outside, stand on the ledge outside and you're fine. For the bigger ones you actually have to go in, but I just strip the base down and start at the top and work your way down. And any aliens you see, I try and strip the resources out so they end up bunch up, and then I just take the ship in and fuck them up. And funnily enough, it's funny or just oddly I should say, the ship ammunition is cheaper to manufacture than the handgun ammunition. So a 15mm Gatling gun bullet costs less than an assault rifle bullet or the minigun bullet. So yeah, may as well use the ship. And small arms does a little bit of damage, but 10 aliens with assault rifles isn't going to destroy your ship, and it's definitely not going to kill the pilot. So you may as well just bunch them up and use the Gatling guns to take them out. Or at least that's my preferred tactic at the moment. We'll see what happens on next updates, and until that time I think we'll stick with that. It's the safest. If it's the bigger bases as well, I've got the little Dalek that I built, the little starter ship that was in chapter 2 maybe, and that's not bad. You just sometimes have to cut your way through the bases, make the doorways a little bit bigger, but that's not a massive issue. Just take plenty of ammunition and you're fine. And once you've got the core, just use the multi-tool to cut your way through. And it is a lot more fragile because it's only a little bits of steel plate or hardened steel plate, but there's exposed areas on the bottom where the feet are. Oops, I thought like an idiot, didn't I? So I just got to be a little bit more careful. But it's fine. Quite happily go against a room full of aliens, and just with one Gatling gun, you're gonna win that firefight. So no major issues. The bigger things like the drone base are a little bit more of a problem once you're getting in and finding the core. But once you've done a couple, they're not that difficult to find. It's always on the bottom level and towards one of the corners. So what you can do is you can use the ship, hover above the base and cut your way directly to the bottom floor. And I've done that in a co-op game with River Acid a couple of times. And there's one particular fortress on Maspron, and it has the massive base defense turrets instead of the little infantry turrets. It has pulse lasers or laser cannons or whatever the fuck they are. It has some of those in there. So you turn a corner and there's a massive gun there, and it just happens to be the way you need to go. So gotta change your tactics that little tiny bit. Okay, I've been there, so more miners that way. But it's pretty easy. if there's two of you, it makes the game a lot easier. Just have one person send a drone that little bit further ahead so you can see where the enemies are and what's behind the corner. You could possibly use explosives as well if you really wanted to blow your way through the walls, or a plasma cannon if you've unlocked that and got the resources to spend. But for me, I'm a big fan of the minigun, and either way, for some of for the larger bases, make sure you've got enough medkits. Omicron's the best place for medkits because you've got the T6 plasma, which lets you make the larger medkits, whereas other planets you've only got the smaller, the T1 plasma, which lets you do the small medkits, which are okay, but nothing particularly special. As you can see on the horizon, there is what looks like a vehicle port. Is it that one? That's that one. This is one of the ones I destroyed. The first one I stripped completely. So you've got a turret roughly there and over here. So just circle around, keep your distance, and strafe round at a reasonable angle. Sort of like this, and it's not too hard. So use the Gatling guns here because I don't want to waste too many resources. I take the turrets out. I usually use missiles. And then what the hell is that noise? Whee. There's something there. I can hear it. What was that movement? Oh, it's one of them. Oh, nothing important. Also use the ships for hunting as well. Yeah. Oh, there's more over there. And the core is switched to first person again. The core is there. So stay about here so the Gatling guns actually converge. Ooh, hello. There's more of you. Do you mind? I'm busy. So about here until the Gatling guns converge and just shoot through the base. And once the core's gone, it's really easy. Most of the aliens are still actually in this. So I'll just land. Just show that. So I usually find a little bit of a flat spot to go to, get the drone out, send it through, and strip it down. There's nothing worth having in here now. Oh, have I killed the aliens in this one? Oh. Yeah, I must have done. I thought I'd left some alive. But see what I mean? You take the floor out from under them, and then they just get stuck. And then when you get a bunch of them here, you can make you just park your ship over there somewhere. The same position I was in when I started destroying the base or taking the core out, and just take them all out in one go. But it's pretty easy. I got a bit lucky with this. Usually on previous playthroughs I've not got any decent resources at all, and now I walked away with some Zescosium and a Restrum, which is how I've been able to get the T3 auto miners, which are a lifesaver, not a time saver anyway. But yeah, usual tactic, just try and take out all the resources as well. It's quicker than mining, because that gets you, the lights get you the glass plate and the metal components, whereas the normal steel gets you steel plate. If it's combat steel, you get steel plate and hardened plate. And when you're building your blueprints, instead of using ingots or iron and sathium ingots, just use your steel plate and your hardened plate, and it cuts the build time down by a hell of a lot. And there you go, 100 and whatever, 200 iron plate in a lot quicker time, or a lot less time than it would take to mine 200. So it's definitely worth assaulting a base. as long as you've got the resources to do it. So, after the first playthrough, when I mined out all of Akua, or most of the resource in Akua, especially what did I run out of? I definitely know there was no promethium there. And now I tend to skim the resources and then put the auto miners there. So it's just a little bit of resource management. For some reason I just find this very cathartic. Anyway, it's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to collect resources in the ship. So, third person. And, okay, that's one. I've still not done the abandoned factory. There's no turrets on it at all. I've just not been in yet. It's quite large. I might as well go and have a look. And I can't remember which corner it is, where the core is, otherwise I could just cut my way through again, I think. Top the food up a little bit. We'll switch to first person for this, it's a bit easier. And, okay. So, try and maintain a reasonable altitude. Keep it steady. And then cut my way down. Is that hard? That might be hard in steel, you know? Or combat steel. But yeah, make some big holes. This is it's not the smallest base. Oh, that was a secondary explosion, so that was probably a fuel tank. One of the other ships that I use is just a normal in-game template, so that's enough of that. But I modified it slightly. I made it a little bit longer. It's only an SV template. I'll probably make one later. I'll show it in another video. So, third person, I get out, and it's small enough that I've cut holes in bases like this. In one of these bases, actually, a factory, and then took the ship down. And yeah, it can be a bore lake, and I've got one stuck before, which made it. Which was the reason for the rebuild in the first place. Obviously, it didn't have enough thrusters when it was upside down to right itself and to fly at strange angles, so I made it a bit longer, put some more RCSs in, put some more thrusters in, got rid of the O2 tanks because I didn't need it, and just made it that little bit stronger. It wasn't much of it, well, it was a lot of an effort for what it is, because you have to cut the entire front of the ship off and rebuild it. But in my eyes, it was worth it. It saved me a lot of hassle, just because it was more manoeuvrable, and it could escape from strange situations or shitty situations that little bit faster. I don't know. It's been my go-to until I built this thing that I'm currently stood on, and this is okay for now, but it seems to be that little bit too fragile. So I've had it on an occasion where one lucky hit from a turret took out the entire ship. It hit just behind the cockpit, it killed me, and it destroyed the core, one of the generators, both fuel tanks, all the ammo boxes, most of the storage. It took out half the internals of the ship, and that was one shot. So I think we're going to redesign it. It put something along the lines of spaced armor in it, so just make it a little bit fatter. The whole point was, when you're assaulting a base, I wanted the smallest front profile possible to make it that little bit harder to hit, and that's fine. However, when it gets hit, oops, I'll jet back on here. When it's shooting for the core and the core's round about here, it just fucks everything up because the splash damage killed me and it destroyed generators and things. And further back, these storage and other crap, and then engines, and it just fucked everything up. So I may have to make it one block fatter at each side. At least that'll give me more room for armor and more room for engines. Yeah, it'll be a fair bit thirstier, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's the abandoned factory anyway, so I need to go that way, find some more miners. That way then. And we're doing okay for resources with the miners now. There are a lot better, weren't there? Is that the drone base? Yeah, I'm not ready to take on the drone base just yet. I can't remember how good the turrets are, I've not looked. The radar stations are pretty easy. It's either 2 or 4 turrets, nothing particularly challenging. And the core is, I think it's near the base. It's not that much of an issue anyway. I think last time I took one out, we did 2 in about 2 minutes. And just minor damage to ships. So as long as you don't get a lucky hit, you're fine. Well, that was in the my little cut and shut ship, and not this thing that I'm using. So yeah, we shall see what happens when I do that next time. But the biggest issue is the spacing, because they're quite close to the drone base. So you've got the drone base and the radar station, and my usual circling tactic there, if I just stay round about there, might take me into range of the radar station. So I may have to do strafing runs for that, and then not actually venture into the bases until the drone base is taken out. But we shall see. Take it as it comes. The priorities for the T3 miners, at least for me, were fuel, because fuel production takes longer than ore production. So I'd rather have the Promethean miners running for longer and the constructors running for longer for making fusion cells for the capital ships, which is why I have 6 hydrogen generators. And that one, that one, and the large fuel packs for the smaller ships. And to say all I have is large fuel packs in this ship, I've got what's that movement? We've got a good couple of hours, 2.5 hours flight time in a ship, which is more than enough for how long I'm going to be out in a small ship. And I also keep in a cargo box. I also keep a few anyway, so probably about 4 or 5 hours fuel just in this ship, and then I have some in my inventory anyway, so I'm never gonna run out of fuel. The next priority is iron and magnesium for ammunition more than anything. Because without fuel and ammunition in this game, you're pretty fucked. even if you lose all your ships, as long as you've got fuel and ammunition, then you can start again. And, well, once I've started the actual... Once I've got a little bit more Zascosium and Erestrum, I'm going to build a few more auto miners to up production again, and some more advanced constructors. In other games, I think I've got 8 in another base, in another game, and that's enough. And as soon as I mine, I just have well, 6 of them refining ores, 1 as a general purpose and 1 just for fuel. But it only manufactures fuel packs, it doesn't actually refine the Promethean pellets. I use another constructor for that. Try and cut the production time down. And it's worked, because I think we've got about 30 or so thousand large fuel packs, which is more than enough. It's because it does just get a bit silly. And once we've got all of them, then that many fuel packs, then the fusion cells are introduced. So we're okay for fuel for that game, but that's a different game. And this one I'm mostly on my own, and it's different tactics and a little bit more cautious, and a lot slower for resource collection as well. So that's another, that explains some of the reliance on the auto miners, hopefully anyway. But yeah, managed to actually build a capital ship, which I will just empty this constructor and have a brief tour of that. Oh, that's nearly done. That's good. That was going in there. I'll do these ores first, and that can stay in there for now, because I'm actually okay for fuel for the minute. We'll start with iron. How much have we got? 1,000, 2,000-ish. So that's about 400. Magnesium? Where the fuck's magnesium? There we go. 2,000 of that. I think we're going to be okay for resources for a while now, or at least for on the ammunition side of things. Copper. Once we have the constructors, or a few more constructors built, then I'm going to up production again. And yes, I know I have some in the inventory, some T1s and some T3s, but I'm saving these for the alien planets, like for the Erestrum and the Zascosium. I'll just put these down, and then anything else that's in the clear, I'll put them on, just to get some more resources made. But you don't really need that many of the Erestrum and Zascosium, so 1 miner's generally enough, or even 10 minutes of mining for most of the game. But if it's there, I want it. It's better to play it a little bit safe for some of these things. Yeah, so I can do that. Get rid of some of this crap. Don't need the lights or the torch. And there should be something in a cargo box. Or not. Oh, more iron and more silicon. Yeah, silicon has been a bit short lately with the construction of ships and things. So, could do with a base made entirely of glass. Not this one, because I'm not stripping this down. But something would be okay. Let's have some berries. So yeah, I coloured the storage boxes. I tried to use Star Trek colours. So blue for science and medical things. Green's energy, just because Borg. White appliances because, well, fridges are generally white. Not always, but generally. I paint the storage boxes white if there's nothing in them. As soon as they're full, I've got something in them. So areas, the sort of medical thing as well. In my eyes. So it's blue. And once that's emptied, then it'll be white again. And this, well, no reason for this to be empty. Got rid of all the tables and things, and all the other decorative crap, and put some more boxes here. And last time, or in another game with the auto miners running, once you stop building, these fill up pretty quickly. So I try and have one for each sort of element. So be cobalt, copper, and all this, all the way down to however many I need. And it doesn't take very long to fill all of this. Well, not once you've got a few auto miners running and you're not manufacturing all the time. So yeah, that was the main alterations I've done to this base. And even more grow plots. Because killed some aliens, found some chutes. So put some more grow plots in. Put another suspended ceiling, some more grow lights. I'm just going to grow whatever I find. A lot of this crap I don't need, like these things. AHAX fruits, just never use them. Alien honey as well, and these texture plant proteins. Never use them. I don't even use corn for much. I know you make plastic out of it, but I don't use a great deal. But since it's here, I may as well. So yeah, not many more, well, in fact no more changes to this base, just more lights. It was a little bit dark and dingy, but what I have done is I built a ship, and this is the mid-tier capital ship, which is, no, it's a hover vessel Egypt, which is prefab tier 2, but it's been altered quite a bit. And the other one I have is, the one I've played with in another game is this, mid 2. So it's mid-size, it's not huge, it's not tiny. Not a very good screenshot there. But I did quite a few alterations. Changed the hull to armoured full combat steel. Got rid of some crap. Got rid of the grow plots because I don't grow things on ships. I use a ship as an actual ship, not as a mobile base, although I could if I wanted to. But I think if all you're doing is growing food as well, you may as well just plant some roots and just let things grow. Once I've been to a cooler and got the ingredients for the tinned vegetables, it becomes a moot point. Don't really need to. Don't need to keep growing things on ships. As long as just come back occasionally. You could leave it for a week or so and then come back and restock. But I don't tend to bother. I tend to have one base of operations and then just go exploring for a bit, do what I need to do, come back and just have it as a manufacturing and growing facility. So yeah, further alterations, upgraded the engines because the small thrusters were a bit shit. Put a couple of artillery turrets on there which have never been used. You'll see it just stays in space. Sentry guns. On the odd occasion I do bring this thing down. I found it's okay to just leave it here. Turn the engines off, leave the guns on, and only have these things shooting the predators and things. So if I've done some building before or done some mining, or when I've been and stripped other bases, say this sort of size of the resources, I've just wanted to bring the big ship down. It gives you that little bit of cover as well, and O2 stations and medic bays, and just more resources, because you can also use it to refine or manufacture stuff, but I tend to refine some ores as well, ready for manufacture at a later date. So put a couple more cannons on things. That's not in the best position because it sticks out a bit. Retextured most of it, even though some of them are missed, because I don't give that much of a fuck. It's only a ship. And yeah, a couple more bits. Added more engines. Had to rebuild them. That didn't work. Had to rebuild the rear end. I see it wasn't fast enough and there wasn't enough cover for the engines. One of the original ones, it got shot a little bit and I lost half the engines at the back and there's just no cover, so brought it out by one more block, same sort of angle as well, same 45-degree angle, slope down to the engines, and put some more in. Also more, bigger, more. That was an empty space, and there was what was supposed to be an intake round about there, so that's been blanked off. And there's some fake exhausts as well that have been blanked off, so there, because I just didn't like the textures. I thought, well, why do we need fake fucking textures and fake exhausts on things? I'm not that bothered. And yeah, where this light is here, I usually have a repair bay in there, but for the purposes of being able to build it, I've got rid of the 2 advanced constructors and the repair bay, just so I didn't need the rarer elements. There's another artillery turret there, so it's armed enough to defend itself against drones and the odd something, but I don't take it anywhere near planets and things or bases. There's no point. I put a door in as well because it was open, and there was 2 like metal bits stuck out here, so I got rid of them, put a door on, and then shut the door like a fucking idiot. Reinforced all of the floor and things. So I thought, well, what if we get shot and it goes into there? Then that's the tanks gone, the clone station and the O2 station and the medic bay. So I may as well just put a fucking door on. I replaced the old RCSs after the update with the newer ones, the bigger ones, and the ship is quite manoeuvrable. We'll go over the ship on a later date. Put some more oxygen tanks in, more ammo boxes, more fuel tanks, and just blanked it all off. Yes. Yeah, it looked nice, but before I don't give that much of a shit, as previously stated. I want functionality over anything else. So yeah, you've got engineering down here. Engineering, the warp drive and things. It's irritating that you can only have 1 warp drive tank, whereas you want more. If you've got the space, why not have 2 or 3? So I don't see the point of limiting your fuel tanks. So, but what about your people who like your long range stuff or just want to do it? I think that's just a bullshit limit. Yeah, door onto the back deck. I usually have my little bus that I built. I usually park that there. I'll build that at a later date. I don't believe I've got the materials for it, maybe. whatever. Bus. Yeah, I can make that. I might as well set that going. Yeah, I'll get some crap out of the base. It's not that difficult to build. It's just mostly cargo boxes, constructors, and O2 tanks. And it is just, I like it. It's the alteration of the, what is it? Prefab 4, is it? That? Got rid of windows and all this crap. Just made it a lot tougher. It's still not a fighter by any means, but it's a lot better than it was. So yeah, I'll build one of them. It's good for refining things, and just because I like it. I made it, I want it, I like it. And these, if we go to this, that was the original fighter thing that I spawned, and changed it because it needed a lot more firepower. Gatling guns are okay, but they're not enough. Cut the cockpit there and made it a bit longer. Another bad screenshot. Let's see if there's another one. Yeah, it's the same thing, just another, it's just one block longer. Get more RCSs in there, more of the crap. Get rid of some of the other stuff that you don't need. You don't need the O2 station on such a small ship. And this one's got 4 rocket launchers and 3 Gatling guns. And the other one has 4 railguns and 3 Gatling guns. It's just thought I'd give the railguns a try, and they were fine. Then an update's pretty much fucked them up, so they're not worth having. There's also that's the original one, yeah, the original Dalek thing, and that's got 1 railgun on it, and that one's got that's the Gatling gun version of it. But that one doesn't need any Sathium, so it's not armoured, whereas this one is made out of armoured steel. There should be another one somewhere. Yeah, there we are. That one's made out of armoured steel, I believe. So yeah, they've got a Sathium requirement there. So if I start again at some point, I will probably still use this, because it's the simplest starter ship I could build. But it's useful. It's just flying cargo boxes. So yeah, that's the ship collection, and I think let's have some air. It might be useful. If I put it there, you Egypt, I can do that kind of. So yeah, that's for weaponries. I don't like the texture, the stripy fucking, that texture there, you know, one of the ones that I keep missing because I'm stupid. And I just don't like it. I prefer this, but this is just a stand-in to decide what I do want to do with it, if anything. Because it's just not worth fucking about, in my opinion, for a lot of these. But I just wanted it so it's easier to see the damage with some of the textures. If something gets hit, you can't tell at a glance whether it's actually damaged or not. But yeah, I like lots of lights on things as well. I wish you could see them from a longer distance, which is the whole purpose of putting lights on. But you don't always get what you want in life. Maybe at a later update. But yeah, well, we've been through here, haven't we? So that's a way out, and that's the way out as well. Takes you down to the bottom deck. So that's there, where the little Dalek is. Constructor here. That will be an advanced constructor eventually, as soon as I get to Maspron and probably Atis, one of the lava planets. So yeah, 4 fridges, 102 station here, 102 station downstairs, food processor, constructor with nothing in it just yet. All these cargo boxes used to be grow plots, but as I stated, I don't want I don't want to be growing food on ships. I wanted the cargo space. And as I need more constructors, or as I want more constructors, I'm stuck on something there, I'll put more in, so I've got enough room here for 5 constructors in total without having to cut away too much of the ship. The only thing I had to do was remove the windows, but that's not a massive issue, is it? I had to change the orientation of this because trying to get into this, it just doesn't work. And so to actually use the medic bay, you have to walk into it. I don't know who made the ship, but tiny mistake, so that just doesn't matter as well. Then through to the bridge, so same old. I lowered the ceiling. There was a big hump here on the outside. Can you show it on third person? No. There was a hump in the ceiling on the original design, so I got rid of that so I could put an artillery turret there. But once again, it's not a massive alteration. Let's just do a bit of RCSs that make it do this. It accelerates pretty well. It's not too bad for what it is. It suits my purposes. I tend to land a ship on each nacelle, and then there's the bus in the middle, and then I can stick another ship just behind the artillery turret at the top. So that's not a. So I've got plenty of space there. The landing bay, or the little cargo bay where the Dalek is, it's not quite big enough for any of the ships, but that doesn't matter to me. I don't use it for that. I'd rather dock the ships on the outside, and then any of the little Daleks and other crap, then I can put that in there. But yeah, that's my little tiny ship. So little fighter here. I can get what either I can get one of them on each nacelle, or I can get one of those on each nacelle. That doesn't matter. And then there's the little, well, anything else, it just fits here if I need to, but I don't need that many ships. It's just there if you want it. But my main thing is it just gets me and a couple of ships I need into the position I need them to be. So it wouldn't stand up for very long in a PvP server. I give it about 30 seconds at the most. Yeah, it's combat steel, but it's only a single layer of combat steel. A couple of hits and you're going to start losing engines, and you're going to start losing your warp drive. Just the warp drive is it's around about here-ish, and then you've got the core below that. So it won't last very long. It's enough for me and what I need. But if someone comes up with something better in the Steam workshop, then I may build it. But fuel economy as well, that's another thing to think about, as you don't want to just blow through all of your fuel if there's no need to do it. And you've seen, what else we got? I saw one as well, and it had a massive iron requirement, 118,900 iron for one ship. I will spawn this in creative and have a look, but is it going to be worth the resource cost? I like the design. It is a very Star Wars design, but for me, I think it may be more suited to a PvP server than a PvE. And it's also something you wouldn't want to take onto a planet because of its size and its fuel requirements. As this thing, I think I've got about an hour or so flying in on a planet on a moon you get more. In orbit it's something stupid like 6 hours if you're just flying around. So I don't want to be running around, running out of fuel if I need to run away from something or in the middle of a fight. But yeah, I'm well aware of its limitations. I know that in one of the systems there's a alien outpost, and that's supposed to be reasonably challenging to attack. So may need a bigger capital ship unless I can do it with fighters, but it's not a pressing issue for the minute. My main issues are resources, and I've got no intention of exploring the entire solar system just yet. On other games I've been to, started from Makua, then done Omicron, it's the next logical step. Then Maspron and Atis. Had a fly around Oscartoon, been to the trading outpost as well. That's it, as it says, it's a PvE, so it's pretty good to go to. And I think there's a space station there that you can just go and take for free or at very little cost and strip all that down. So that's somewhere I'll go and have a look at there another day. And I've been to Ningu's, which is a snow planet, and there's not a great deal, there's nothing special there that I need. So my priorities are Maspron and either Atis or Astus because they have the Erestrium and they have the Zescosium, or that has the Zescosium. That's the only planet. I've not tried that one. I'm not sure if I've been to the asteroid field, to be honest. I think so, but I'm not sure. And I know I've not been to the outpost. So yeah, that was my brief, well, maybe brief, probably took far too long. But that's my quick overview of what I've done so far. I also have some more fusion cells. Getting there slowly takes a long time. More large fuel packs and 2 tiny fuel tanks. I do like these little hangar bays. However, it's not something I tend to use. I think if you've got a co-op server and a couple more people in, each person could have their own designated areas. If you could divide it up, but for me, I prefer my storage in the middle because my storage is for the manufacturing side of things. One thing I will very, very briefly go through is one thing that annoyed me with some of these ships was how things were organised. And when you have different guns, so you've got little sentry guns, more sentry guns, then you've got your artillery turrets there, and you've got cannons and rocket launchers and all this bullshit. Keeping track of your ammo can be a bit of a pain in the arse. So what I've done is I divided it up. Instead of just having fuel tank or whatever, so yeah, medical, I've added a cargo box for all this crap that I pick up or make. That's easy to find if you need it. You don't want to have something like an alien parasite or an open wound and then be looking through a cargo box to find something. It's a big ship, and the smaller ones I stick things in the fridge, make it easier. For the big ones, we've got a medic box. Miscellaneous ammo, I fill it with just ammo for guns I'm not using. I would tend to move away from pistols, but if I pick up pistol ammo, I'm just going to keep it in case I need a pistol at some point. Fuel tanks, yeah, it's fuel. There's nothing to be said about fuel. Just wanted to open it and fill it up a little bit. So yeah, fridges and food processors together, but mainly divide up your ammunition. So yeah, I know it's not ship ammo. It's 12.7mm ammo, which is for a sniper rifle. So see, it's highlighted there. But I don't want to be looking for cargo boxes to find some fucking ammunition. So same as if I have to rearm a small ship, the 135mm ammo is the ammunition for the rocket launchers on the smaller ships. So if you've been out and you've fucked some bases up, then you know you've got a box of ammunition to come back to and rearm. Same with 15mm ammo. It's a cargo box for the Gatling guns. So whereas that says it's a large ammo box, and an ammo box is for the ship itself. So the capital ship uses 160mm ammo. That is the artillery turret. So it gets 2 ammo boxes. And then the rocket launchers for the ship, 150mm, 4 of them. 30mm cannons, 4 of them. 5.8mm ammo. That is for the sentry turrets on the outside of the ship. And all of that is just ship ammo, apart from the top one, which is sniper. Then minigun ammo. If you're using miniguns, you go through a fucking shit ton of minigun ammo on a base assault. So I'll fill a couple of them up with minigun bullets. And yeah, there's only 10 cargo boxes here for random shit, but cargo boxes are for random shit. Chargers. So the charger will have drill ammo and multi-tool chargers in there. What else have we got? I built a template a while ago, just farted about, and I put 2 laser turrets on it, and just so I knew where the ammo was to reload the base, I thought, well, laser, base ammo, cargo box, makes life easier again. What else? I tried the plasma cannons on the SV as well, which are a bit shit as well. So I've got plasma boxes, plasma ammo there, railgun ammo there. So miscellaneous crap there. Who gives a fuck about a gravity generator or a passenger seat? It just doesn't matter. Spare guns, because no matter what you do, you always pick up spare guns. And in some of the boxes, you might pick up a few blocks of combat steel or a thruster or a docking pad or anything along them lines. So it's spares. There's no point breaking them all down just to remake them again. If it's something you know you're not going to use, I don't use hover vehicles, so I'll get rid of all of that shit. But if it's something I might use later, I may as well just put it in here. And then if I need to make a repair, I don't actually have to manufacture it. I can come in here and say, well, I've got all this extra crap I can use. But it just makes life a lot easier. Also for base building, or if you want to make an alteration or just do a little bit of experimenting, keep your spares together. And warp fuel, I mentioned the warp drive tank, you can only have 1, so I have a cargo box as well, and I will put fusion cells in here because it's spare fuel. You don't want to be stuck somewhere, so there'll be fusion cells and there'll be anything and everything else in here, just to make sure that the ship is always ready. And yeah, I've got an ammo box I haven't allocated yet, and a couple of constructors that will be advanced constructors once I got the materials for it. But I do believe that was all I wanted to go through for today on this short-ish, well, short video for me anyway. I think other people have different standards on how short a short video is going to be. I just ramble a lot, talking out of my ass, as some people say. So yeah, that was it. A little bit of a tour. Alright, thank you very much and goodbye.